Are you looking for some inspiration for your trip to India? Or maybe you're in India right now and you're looking for some movies that will give you some pride about where you live? In this video, I'm going to go through 17 movies that will inspire you to travel to India. Now I know what you're thinking. You've probably seen these. What am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about Slumdog Millionaire. I'm going to talk about Eat, Pray, Love. Boring. The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. You're like, I've seen all of these. Well, guess what? In this video, we're talking about movies you probably have not seen. Most of them, at least some of them. Maybe one or two if you're really into movies, but I doubt it. No way you've seen all these, not a chance. You want to stay till the end too, because I have 3 movies that you've probably already seen that you did not know were shot in India, so stay tuned. Quick interruption, if you're interested in some inspiration about India, subscribe to my channel. Every week I'm making videos from beautiful India, and I'd love to have you a part of our community. One thing you didn't know about me is that I love movies. I watch movies almost every single day, and I track them like the big nerd that I am on an app. It's like a social media app for film nerds. And every movie that I watch, I put in here. I've reviewed 720 movies. I've watched 2,394. My family's so proud. Movie number 1, Jobs, made in 2013. It is, of course, about the iconic Apple founder, Steve Jobs. You may not know that there is a scene in India because Steve Jobs went there in 1974, I believe, and he's quoted as saying that that trip gave him some inspiration. Let's take a look at the trailer.
The board is unanimous. Steve will no longer be involved in this company. 10 years after Steve Jobs' departure, the future of Apple computers.
There you go. That little scene right there, that is in India, and he went to the Red Fort, he went to Chandi Chowk in Old Delhi. There are some other locations shot in Delhi as well, and there's a there's a scene where he's sitting outside this ashram, and his friend reads him this quote from a famous yogi: "Be as simple as you can be, you'll be astonished to see how uncomplicated and happy your life can be." Now, what's kind of funny about that is his life was like not very simple at all. You can find the movie on Amazon Prime if you're looking to watch it right now. Next, we have $1 Million Arm. This is a Disney movie starring Jon Hamm, the leading man from the TV series Mad Men. And in this movie, he's a sports agent, and he's looking for a baseball star, and he's inspired by cricket players in India. So if you're a cricket fan, this would be a good movie for you. Let's check out a little bit of the trailer.
We're out of money, man. I don't know what else to do, JB. Hey, that's the pitch of cricket.
He goes to India, he travels around, and of course it's made by Disney, so it has a happy ending. It's a warm story. It reminds me a bit of Jerry Maguire meets the Bad News Bears, if you've seen those movies. Next up, James Bond. He went to India for the movie Octopussy, made in 1983, and he's in Udaipur. And he gets into some trouble, of course, meets beautiful women, and has some adventures throughout India. Let's take a look.
I'm Octopussy, and you are James Bond, 007 licensed to kill. Am I to be targeted tonight?
If you're into adventure tales and haven't seen James Bond, this is a good one to watch. It's cool to watch him fighting off bad guys in rickshaws and other Indian-style adventures. The next one is a romantic comedy featuring the Indian actor Irrfan Khan, who recently just passed away. It's called The Lunchbox, and it's got kind of a cool, it's very like Indian, unique concept. There's a guy working at an office, and he keeps getting this lunchbox from another woman who's married and unhappy in her relationship. And so they build this relationship through these lunch boxes, and he's sending her notes. It reminds me a little bit of You've Got Mail, if you've seen that one with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
बहुत देर से आए वो कुछ नहीं बोले
Dear love, things are never as bad as they seem.
The next movie is set in France. However, it features an Indian family starting a restaurant.
In the south of France, her restaurant had no equal.
Last night we served this in this restaurant. The cuisine is not an old, tired marriage. It is a passionate affair.
Until one family.
They're bringing their Indian culture, and it's this clash of cultures between the French and the Indian, and there's some funny scenes where the dad is like negotiating lower prices for hotels, and then people think he's broke. The food in the film is very delicious looking too, so if you're into good food, or if you want to get some food while you're watching it, I would recommend that. The next movie, Kama Sutra, A Tale of Love, was made in the 90s, and it's a more steamy movie. This is definitely an R-rated movie. It's, of course, about the classic tale or the classic literature that was written in India, the Kama Sutra. And it's about a love triangle between a king and a maid and another lover. And like I said, it is not for children's eyes. It's made by an Academy Award nominated director from India, Meera Nair, and it's worth watching. My next recommendation is a must-watch I would consider for travelers. The reason is because it tells the story of India's history in a fiction movie. So it is about a young boy who was born on the night exactly at midnight when India achieved its independence. And his fate is intertwined with India. So we're seeing these iconic historical Indian events through the tale of this young boy.
I was born in the city of Bombay, once upon a time. Mysteriously handcuffed to history, my destiny forever chained to my country.
It's based off the classic novel Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie. That is also a great book to read, which I would recommend. I actually have I have a video with book recommendations about India. If you want to check that out, that's linked below as well. When she whispers in my ear. So now that the writery is done, let's see if we can make your other pencil.
Oh, behave.
The reason I came to India. The next film is about an Indian family who is adjusting to living in America. Specifically, Irrfan Khan again, the famed actor who I mentioned recently from the Lunchbox. He marries an Indian woman. He's Indian as well. They move to America, they start a family, and it's about their son who's going on this coming-of-age story. He's finding his identity. Well, the reason I mention it is because it has what someone might go through if they're moving to India, because it's about the clash, how this Indian family deals with American culture.
Some things you should know. No kissing. No holding hands.
If you're interested, it also has like Indian Western relationships, which is a cool topic, I think. It's interesting for myself being here, and it might be interesting for you as well. The next movie is an Indian film. Most of these other ones were made in Hollywood, but this one is an Indian film that became very popular internationally. It's called Monsoon Wedding. Indian weddings are very iconic, or known to be a big spectacle. And when you're driving down the road, you might see people wheeling all of these lights and decorations. And this is for the huge Indian wedding. And so this is about one Indian wedding. It happens during a monsoon. And the Criterion Collection actually made it into a film. And they are known for choosing very well-made movies. So I actually watched this way before I came to India and is one of the reasons why I became interested in India. It's about a couple and the challenges and a family and the challenges of having a wedding. It's beautifully shot as well and is very interesting to watch. This next movie you might not know was shot in India and has India as a subject. You've probably already seen it though. It is The Life of Pi. Of course, it's a story about a boy who's stuck on a boat with a tiger, but that boy was from Pondicherry, which is not too far from me. And when I was in Pondicherry, I saw one of the mosques that they shot the film at. If so, you may remember that the main character grew up in Pondicherry, and this mosque was actually in the movie. It was also shot in Kerala some as well. This next movie is a classic. I watched it when I was a kid. Of course, the trilogy Indiana Jones, made by the great director Steven Spielberg, who, weirdly personal note, I had a dream that I met him just last night at an award ceremony. Anyways, the movie Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, this is the third in the trilogy, was shot and is set in India.
It must be Indiana Jones.
If you haven't seen Indiana Jones, you gotta go watch this trilogy right now. If you're staying at home to be safe with the coronavirus, it is 6 hours of fun watching. And it's kind of cool that they're going through India in this adventure. This next movie I would consider a much watch, partially because it's less well known than most of these films. It also is a documentary about this guy who's being set up to have an arranged marriage by his family. He's trying to date, but he's been living in America for a while. So again, it's kind of that Indian culture versus Western culture clash. That is pretty fun to watch.
Story starts 2 years ago in LA. I had just broken up with Audrey, and I was miserable. We'd been together for 2 years, and I had never told mom and dad about her. In fact, they were freaking out because, here I was, almost 30, never married, which in our culture is like
Code red.
Code red.
His parents are so cute. The guy is funny. If you're into classic film, Pather Panchali, I might be mispronouncing that, I've never heard it actually said, but Pather Panchali is a classic film, considered a masterpiece by film buffs around the world, and it's made by a director who's considered one of the best directors in the entire world, Satyajit Ray, if I'm pronouncing that right too, I might be getting that wrong. But the movie is about a village in India. It is a slower movie. It's not as in your face as a Steven Spielberg adventure tale, but the way it shows India is so authentic, and it's strangely compelling the way that you see this small village. If you're interested in visiting an Indian village, I would recommend watching this in the meantime because it's beautiful. It's a part of a trilogy as well that was all well received and well reviewed the world over. It's about a boy named Apu and how he grows up through the movies and his family relations. They start in this village, and the second one they go to Varanasi, and then the third one he's going to college and becoming a writer. Now this next one is well known. I'm including it, even though I didn't include a lot of popular movies. You notice I'm not mentioning Slumdog Millionaire. I'm not mentioning Eat, Pray, Love. I'm not mentioning The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, which all are good movies. I assume you probably watched them. You might have watched this one too, but I just love Wes Anderson. The Darjeeling Limited is so funny and a great watch.
I want to be completely open and say yes to everything, even if it's shocking and painful.
Do you have any questions?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
What happened to your face?
I want to ride an Indian train because of this movie, although none of the Indian trains look like this. Now, 3 movies you've probably already seen but didn't know were shot in India. The first one, The Bourne Supremacy. Yep.
Bourne walked away from his past, never to look back again.
There are some fight scenes on the beaches of Goa. So, the second one is The Dark Knight Rises, a great movie in the Batman series.
Did they kill him?
I'm not sure. Why didn't you just kill me? Your punishment must be more severe.
The prison scene that we were just taking a look at was shot in India in Jodhpur. There's the fort, the Maharangar Fort, and that was shot in the Batman. The Batman was there. The third one you never knew was in India is one of the Mission Impossible movies, Ghost Protocol. There's some scenes on the streets of Mumbai where Tom Cruise is beating up bad guys and doing artistic kung fu and other stuff like that. You can watch all these movies online right now. And if you want more, if you're not satisfied with only these 17 movies, I got 50 in my post on my blog, Chai Nomad. Link in the description, and I probably put it on the screen somewhere here. And if you're already subscribed and you want more India travel tip videos, I got a playlist here, India travel tips, with over 50 videos that you can learn so much about how to have an epic trip to India.